Back here on NE10 now, the podcast, we turn our attention to men's soccer as the NCAA tournament continues. Thomas Esperoe from the number one team in the country, Franklin Pierce, joins us. First off, congratulations on the run that you guys have had this year. Starting broadly, why have you guys been successful as a team?
Thank you, Joel. I think obviously it was a lot of nerves going in for a lot of guys, new coaching staff, a lot of new things. But I think the team, just the guys in general, the players we had just clicked perfectly. The coaches did a really good job there and mixing and matching the guys together to kind of get that collective. And we were just, hitting the ground running at the start of the season and just kept going from there.
Let's talk about that mixing and matching a bit, because your coach was the very first person we had on this podcast back towards the beginning of the season. And we talked about the fact that this was a team that was picked preseason number one in the country, but it had so many new pieces and was a very different looking team than the one that won the national title a year ago. What was it like for you guys to try to fit all of those puzzle pieces together and do it under the microscope of everybody thinking and expecting you to win?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we had a lot of guys, transfers, a lot of new guys coming in, and me personally too, coming from a different program, definitely felt that kind of expectation. And I think the fact that we got that expectation that early kind of set the tone for where we wanted to be during practice, during games. So I think everyone was expecting us to. Obviously, everyone around was expecting us to have a good season starting off, and I think from just the first days in preseason, we kind of the coaches, from meetings we had, from the conversations we had within the team, within the group of guys, we were determined.
What's the dynamic of your team like? Because you've got so many people from so many places and so many backgrounds. How does that blend together? Like, what have you learned about people or culture that maybe you didn't know having to play on a team that's made up the way it is?
Yeah, we have a very Spanish speaking team. Obviously some guys from Spain, some guys from Portugal too, speaking Portuguese, and some guys from Argentina, Mexico. And then there's, me, the not only non-speaking Spanish guy, non-English Spanish speaking guy on the team that's not from the States. So it's an interesting dynamic. Obviously, it was early in the season. The Spanish guys kind of, speak a lot of Spanish, and then once they get comfortable, then everyone gets comfortable around each other. It's like we like blossom into this perfect team where everyone takes care of each other. So you definitely learn a lot of. I've learned a lot of. I think a lot of Spanish. I feel like I understand more now than I did when I started. And then you try and teach the guys some Norwegian too if they're asking. So, it's good. We could have fun with it. I can make fun of them if they're saying something in Spanish and I don't understand, and they can make fun of me if I'm talking in Norwegian on the phone or whatever. So it's a really good dynamic. And like I said earlier, the mix of guys is very good.
People always talk about playing with the target on your back, and we always get everybody's best shot because everybody wants to beat the number one team and the defending champion. What is it truly like to be on the other side of that? Can you tell when teams are gunning for you and when the intensity is up a notch a little bit, match in and match out?
It's a very cool feeling. I came from a very good program down in New York and at Queens College, and having to play them the first game, I kind of got that. We kind of got that right away. I got that feeling from those guys, and I think we thrive more with that expectation and the fact that teams come in and want to beat the number one team. Obviously, we've had some rivalry, some rivalry with Southern New Hampshire University, which has been two really good games, physical games. So it's a different feeling having that target on your back, but it also feels good because it feels like that kind of recognition, to us players, to the coaching staff, and it also gives us that extra motivation to just kind of keep progressing and moving through the season and the games.
I was going to come back to that, but since you brought up Queens, let me dive in there. Walk me through the transfer process. Like, what were you looking for in a new home? Why was it that Franklin Pierce was the right fit for you with one more year of eligibility?
So I wanted to do my master's, and given the fact that I got that COVID year back, I went on the transfer portal, and I've been very interested in sustainability the last few years, and wanted to do my master's in that field. And looking around a little bit, doing my research on different schools. At first, I didn't contact Franklin Pierce. I thought, national champions, maybe a little bit too much to reach for.
What was that doubt like, and what was that reassurance like of that call when the coaching staff said, no, we would like you to play here. You can be an asset.
At first it was a little bit unreal. I had to check twice if the email was from the people that I thought it was. So it was a bit of a strange feeling. But also it felt good because it was a sign to me and recognition to me that, I've done well in my previous years of college. So, and then once we got into the conversation and I got to know the coaching staff better, got to see what they wanted to do. I kind of aligned it with my interests, and it felt like a perfect match.
Walk me through your backstory a little bit, because you were at Queens. Before that, you were at Nova Southeastern down in Florida. And then before that, obviously you come from Norway. And I admittedly don't know Norway all that much, but I looked on a map and I was like, oh, he's from out there. Like he is from right on the water. And there's not an easy road, it looks like, to get to your home. Tell me a little bit about home in Norway and where you grew up.
Yeah, I'm from the west coast of Norway, a little island called Bømlo. Very proud to be from there. It's a beautiful area, especially in the summers. But yeah, growing up, obviously played a lot of soccer. Moved away when I was 15, 16 for high school with one of my good friends. We started an academy there. Did 3 years of high school. Just kind of wanted to expand my horizons and get new experiences. And I got in contact with this company in Norway that helps students or potential students that want to do sports move over to the States. They helped me a lot.
For people that have never been to Norway, and I guess specifically the west coast of Norway, because I would imagine most international travel starts and maybe ends in Oslo. What would you like people to know about where you're from and what your home country is like?
Norway is beautiful. I always say, if you're interested in hiking, if you like skiing, and if you like just sitting in nature and enjoying nature, then Norway is absolutely stunning. But and also we have some really nice cities on the west coast. Obviously I've spent most of my life on the west coast. Don't really travel much over to the east to the capital, but I have two siblings that live in different cities on the west coast there, and they're beautiful cities. So it's not that warmest climate, but it's you get used to it, and it's beautiful during the summer times.
You guys are obviously at this point well on your way in the national tournament, but to get there, you had to first go through the NE10 championship, and it was a very interesting ride. Tell me about the pressures that you faced having to go to PKs twice in the NE10 championship, and what that does to make you guys a better team at the crunch time of the season.
I think it was an interesting time when during that quarterfinal, we kept pressing and pressing, and AIC just kept defending and managed to keep us off from scoring. And once we went into that penalty shootout, we got the team that was going to take the pens, and that was it. It was more like, we've come this far, there's no reason to just, finish it off and keep going. So
what was it like for you to win it?
It was a good feeling. A lot of people have asked me after what it felt like walking up to take that penalty, but AIC missed. I believe they missed right before. So for me, it was just about going up there and shooting the ball in the goal. And if I would have missed it, we would have kept going. So I feel like that pressure was taken off a little bit. So it was, but all in all, a good feeling. And then we had a decent semifinal. Going into the final, we obviously played SNU in a very competitive physical game. And then we went to penalties. And it's one of those situations that you enjoy being in, in a final. It's the most exciting, nerve-wracking thing you're in, and having to do a penalty shootout to decide if you're the champions or not is an interesting way to do it. But yeah, I mean, it was a good feeling. We had a good feeling going in. We already had that confidence from that first penalty shootout, and then it was just about getting the job done.
Thomas Esperoe, congrats on the season so far, the career so far, and best of luck ending it on a high note here.
Thank you, Joel. Thank you.